Welcome to Global Health and Wellness Practitioners YouTube channel, where we're giving exposure and connecting great practitioners while educating and promoting comprehensive health and wellness globally. So welcome, Reverend Devin. Reverend Devin is a massage therapist, Reiki healer, and a teacher of the Course in Miracles. And he's going to share with us today a little bit about forgiveness. Would you first like to start with your story and your background?
Where to start? I was actually raised in the LDS, or the Mormon Church here in Utah, and so I always had an idea of God, and yet, of course, it was in its own construct, its own shape, and I always attempted to learn more and find out more. I felt a real drive to discover and understand the truth, to figure it all out in one way or another. And so it took me into study and into prayer, and at a very young age I felt like I made a pretty deep connection with following guidance and a sense of intuition. And it led me along quite a journey that even I felt like it was taught me how to meditate at the age of 12, while I was laying asleep in bed, or laying awake in bed. And even followed it through going through theater in high school, learning how to break out of my box. And then some reason brought me to massage therapy, where I got really familiar with the body, and it was a beautiful thing. And that led into energy work of Reiki and several different forms of different modalities. It was quite a journey, and I even started a podcast back then called Therapy of the Soul Radio, that I interviewed different therapists of different modalities and everything, and got an interview from where I was stretching the box a little. I got an interview with a tarot card reader, and that was interesting. She told me to do A Course in Miracles. She said I was a wizard and I could have been Merlin in a past life, and I related with that. That was nice. She said, hey, you need to do A Course in Miracles. And after the reading, like, okay, what is A Course in Miracles? And she's like, I don't know. I have no idea. Look it up. So being new to the internet at the time, searching for a week-long course, a month course, something, some getaway. Let's find this Course in Miracles. And it wasn't till the week later only at the bookstore I saw this pile of the blue book, and it said A Course in Miracles, and I started doing it within the next couple weeks on my birthday. Started doing the lessons, hopped right into it, and it was interesting because as I was taking a massage therapy and felt done really well in that with the body focus, then I went into energy and kind of the spirit focus, and then A Course in Miracles takes you into more of a conscious focus of all of that. Did my power go out? What happened?
Yeah, you just lost the background.
I don't know why I did that. It's funny.
When was that? What year was that?
Let me change it back here. I didn't realize it does that. Okay. So that was in 2005, 2006, somewhere along there. and yeah, A Course in Miracles takes it to a whole another conscious level, that you're focused on the mind, and essentially everything being consciousness. And of course, getting into forgiveness and what that's really about and how to use that. So, of course, quite a journey, because after that I was led to start traveling. After I did the course the first time, I saw myself in a meditation seeking to transcend the world, trying to forgive everything. And so on the course of doing that, I left my wife at the time, and I just didn't know where to go, what to do, and I just went. It started out with a somewhat of a retreat. What do they call it? It was a three-week devotional on A Course in Miracles and the practical application in Canada, and then I started walking from there, and traveling and meeting up with people, other students, and going to meditation centers and all sorts of different variations. Yeah.
And so now you're teaching. When did you start the teaching?
So, yeah, I was kind of teaching the whole time, trying to, and yeah, it was more in a way of, this is what we need to achieve, this is what we need to do. And then I had what I refer to as my death experience, a multidimensional experience where I would say that I forgave everything. And quite a phenomenal layers and layers of experience, and came back and recognized why I was here and what I was doing, and the whole reason I was birthed into life in the first place. And so it was like a whole renewing of my first dedication for living. And one of the reasons was to teach and to share this information, and recognizing what it takes to get out of this cycle of birth and death, of physicality, and to actually recognize and remember who we really truly are.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I just hope my background doesn't go out again. I didn't know it does that. So it's kind of funny that I thought it was on a cycle thing, but I guess we'll find out.
It's holding right now. It's okay. So you just left off with knowing who we are.
Ooh.
That's where. Do you want to continue with that, or should we go into the forgiveness part of, and the message?
Whatever you feel.
I'm assuming that's like the biggest message from the Course in Miracles is the forgiveness.
Forgiveness is the application to discover what you are, and so, of course, it's attempts to lead you to discovering who you really truly are. And yet, if you don't apply it in several different forms and way of life, it doesn't really take you there. It's definitely more than a pardon of someone's sins against you, and that forgiveness does go to the extent of, forgiving all your past, all your resentments and grievances of what you believe about yourself, but even to the extent of every thought that you have, all the definitions and shapes and forms and objects, and even being a body or a construct in any way. So it is pretty deep and extensive about it, but just simply to be able to see through it, to see past it, as if it is an illusion or not really there. And so by doing that, then you naturally dispel what this, say, world is holding together with, the glue that holds it all together. So you then discover what you are beyond it. Yeah.
And sounds like in a very accepting way, like you're saying, forgiving way. So it's not being angry at it or resisting or fighting.
Yeah, I associate forgiveness to relaxation as far as the body's concerned. And so, yeah, it's absolutely a complete acceptance of everything, every last little thing about yourself, about the world, all of it, and just completely, essentially seeing it as good.
Yeah.
Seeing it as, yeah, it's all good. Honestly, like really authentically.
And then coming to that place of acceptance and opening of our center.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, because even that, as forgiveness, if you want to apply it to everything, it does open up, say, all your energy in different ways, and every time, every frequency that you're dealing with, you have to learn this acceptance, and yet what you're doing with it is also going beyond it. So I explain it in a fashion of the rainbow, and that the rainbow is derived from a prism of light, and it divides the white light. And we want to know the white light beyond the prism that divides it into the frequencies. So as we know ourselves, even as a soul or a body, we have these separate frequencies of energy, and some refer to them as chakras, as if they're particular positions. But we're going through this whole process. We cycle through these different resistances all the time. And so we're attempting to face them and confront them all day, every day. And we're clearing it out in a way that we're accepting it completely. Eventually, if you accept it completely, let's say if you don't accept it completely and you want to know the white light, you will have a missing color which would be evident of, it wouldn't be white light that you would come to know. So you can't know the fullness of white light before it's divided if you don't accept red about yourself or orange about yourself, and common ones that are in resistance. Or if you have excessive amount of, say, indigo or anything like that, you have to be balanced and accepting of all the facets and features of all the frequencies of yourself, and this includes all aspects of your personality, in order to know what is the white light purely. Does that explain it well?
Yeah. Yeah, all the different layers of who we are and how we behave and think, and our, like you said, our constructs and our conditions, knowing all those.
Yeah, so a lot of modalities and energy work, and facing and confronting your past lives, and just dealing with healing your past and accepting these things is that whole process. So all of them are very acceptable and helpful to being able to eventually come to know the fullness of who and what you are.
So that's a big reason why we set out on our journeys of exploration.
Yeah.
And we're exploring, and we're trying to find out all the different layers of ourselves. Try to soul search, essentially.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing about A Course in Miracles is, in the introduction, it says it's a required course. Some people get like, wait a second, what are you I have to do this course, and it's not referring to the book. So really, A Course in Miracles is your life, and it's always that's the required essence of it. Your sense to discover your limitlessness and recognize what that is. And so you have to live life. You have to learn it eventually and it's inevitable that what you are discovers itself again. So it will happen lifetimes, maybe just one, maybe in a few moments. It's different for every perspective or person. So
Basically saying, yeah, we have to live through the humanness and the tough things, the lessons that we're supposed to learn.
Yeah, we came here to learn limitation, and then to learn our way out of limitation and back into limitlessness again. So the school of life, as it's often referred to, this is a helpful curriculum to guide ourselves through recognizing how to get past it, how to get through it, say life.
Like some words that people use are like ascend or...
Yes. There's definitely a lot of different definitions of ascension, in the sense of even just ascending energetically or consciously, just in our awareness of life. And yes, that happens every time we learn something. Every time we start applying something new, we're ascending in our understanding of life. And yet, in the same way, there is a barrier that, as far as we have this habit of our mind or consciousness of thinking of ourselves as physicality, as bodies, and so often as we die, we have a natural cycle of rebirth because we're addicted to it. It's a habit. And so we need to learn to, think differently, learn to think as a soul, and so that when we are a soul, we can actually think as a soul. And in the same way, elevate our consciousness to grasping a different sense of reality. Instead of, thinking I have an itch on my head, I'm looking for a hand to itch my head, and I need a hand to do that, right? I have a habit of thinking of myself as a body, or even talking with my hands, right? We have so many of constructs, aspects of ourselves that we believe is and need just habitually of what we insist is real. So forgiveness is getting past all of the things that we think is real. Now, I teach a lot of different courses that I'm developing all the time. We just started and built a whole academy, so I'm a little behind in the series, the A7 series that I was working on, but I have different depths of courses. Had 50 courses in development for this last year, and so not just A Course in Miracles, but taking A Course in Miracles and the understanding and what I've received from my death experience and into different perspectives. So I have, for an example, I have Evoking Spirit, which is the A7. I have I have Transcending Perceptions and Embodied Forgiveness, where you learn a lot the different depths of forgiveness, and Energy Immersion, which we get more into learning about the soul and recognizing the energy of all existence. And what I'm currently working on is the Dimensions of Artistry, where we're actually taking art class. It's somewhat of an art class, learning forgiveness and spirituality through that. And then the Full Spectrum Diet coming up will be learning how to heal all those frequencies and to get past it with everything, including food. And so we apply it in so many different fashions, and there's even more depth because each of these course series have 7 courses within them. And so it's pretty intense. It's been taking a long time, but it is a place where you can follow your guidance and see where you feel like you want to or need to learn. Like the forgiveness one, it starts out, I might leave a few out, but it has like for the victimized, for the betrayed, for the abandoned or forsaken, and different ideas like that. So you can find where to apply forgiveness, and essentially we practice doing it together, and the meditations in all of the courses. So it's very applicable and very helpful in finding where you feel like you are coming from and where you need it, and always flexible payment options as well, and donations. So,
And people could do this all online.
yep, yeah, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger every week. So there's a lot coming.
Awesome. It sounds like it's a lot of work for you to put together.
It has been, yes, but when you're inspired, it's not much work at all. It just kind of flows, and you're just doing what you're called to do and letting it happen. Yeah.
Beautiful. So thank you for sharing everything with us. And is there anything else that you would like to just leave and share with people for inspiration?
Essentially, regardless of the depth of understanding that you might have about yourself, there's always more, and there's always more liberation, more freedom that comes from it. So let go of yourself in a way and let yourself be free.